Hello, English learners. Welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're back bringing you another great lesson, an intermediate lesson.
That's right, about one of my favorite subjects.
We're talking about food.
Exactly.
So on this occasion, we're going to be talking about food. So let's preview some words on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
All right, we have 3 words for you today. And the first word is head chef.
Head chef.
Head chef.
So what is a head chef?
Well, in a professional kitchen, this is the boss of the kitchen or the leader of the kitchen.
Okay, so the head chef is the main cook,
Yes,
so to
but
say.
he doesn't cook.
But he doesn't cook.
Okay.
All right, so if he doesn't cook, who's the one that does the cooking?
That brings us to our second word, sous chef.
Sous chef.
Sous chef.
Sous chef.
S-O-U-S.
So the S is silent because it's like a French word.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So the sous chef is the second in line to the head chef.
Yeah, he's the number 2.
Number 2.
Mhm.
So he's basically the one that's doing some of the work
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Yep.
Now let's take a look at our last word, cuisine.
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 So this is an interesting word. What exactly does it mean?
Well, it basically means cooking, right?
Okay.
Like the art of cooking.
So for example, I can say French food,
Yeah, or French cuisine.
French cuisine, which includes all the food.
Yep.
And this is also the major that people study in college to become a chef.
Yep.
You study
Yep.
cuisine.
hmm And cuisine is a noun, right?
It's a noun. Okay, so I think we're ready to dive into our dialogue. What exactly is going on?
Well, we're in a restaurant, and it's a really busy night. And so we're going to listen to what is happening in the kitchen.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Ah, c'est pas possible, j'ai vraiment une galère ici, ça n'arrive jamais.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Ooh, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we're really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and get over here. I need some sauce tiered and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they're food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
Okay, so a busy night here at this restaurant.
I know. It sounds like there's a lot of pressure on this chef, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, you can tell in his voice that he's really stressed out.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a look at some of this kitchen vocabulary that we found in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
All right. Well, we've got 5 words for you today. And the first one is peel.
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 P-E-E-L.
So this is a verb,
Mm-hmm.
and it means to...
Remove the outside skin.
Okay, so for example, when you're going to eat a banana,
You must peel it first.
you must peel it. You got to take away the yellow skin.
Mhm.
What else do you peel? Oranges, potatoes.
Potatoes, like in the dialogue. What else can you peel? I don't know. Carrots.
Carrots.
Yeah.
Some people peel their tomatoes. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
All right, now let's take a look at our next word. Chop.
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 So again, another verb, and it means to.
It means to cut food into pieces.
Oh, so if you're going to eat carrots, first you got to chop them,
Exactly.
right? You can't put a whole carrot in
In your soup.
your soup or in
No.
your rice.
Yeah.
Okay, chop.
Mm.
Okay, our next word, stirred.
Yeah, this is the past participle of the word stir.
Okay, so the verb stir.
Stir.
So when you stir something,
Imagine you have a big pot, and you've got a long spoon. You move the spoon around in circles. So
Okay.
you're stirring the pot.
you're mixing.
Mhm.
To stir is very similar to mix.
Yes.
Okay,
So you just move the food around.
move the food around.
Yep.
Okay, our next word, butchered.
Again, the past participle of the verb butcher.
Okay, butcher.
Butcher.
Now, this verb to butcher something,
Mm-hmm.
it's when you remove all the bones and all the organs from the meat.
Exactly. So you cut up the meat.
And this is interesting because it's also a noun.
Right. A butcher is a person who cuts up meat.
Okay, so it's really easy. A butcher butchers meat.
Yes.
All right, our last word, butter.
Buttered.
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 Okay, so buttered, this is weird.
I know. Normally we all know the noun butter,
Mhm.
but here it's acting as a verb.
Okay.
So when you butter something, you spread or put butter on it.
Okay.
Simple.
So to put butter on something. So you can
Yep.
butter a piece of bread,
Exactly.
or in this case, the fish is being buttered.
Mhm.
Sounds delicious. Okay, now we're ready to listen to our dialogue for the second time. We're going to slow it down a little bit so it's easier to understand.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Oh, c'est pas possible, j'en ai marre, moi.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Whoa, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we are really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and come over here. I need this sauce stirred, and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they are food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
Okay, so that seems to be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And hey, I noticed that there's a lot of really great kitchen words in here, like words that you commonly hear in a professional kitchen.
Okay, so let's take a look at these kitchen words in Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
All right, we've got 3 phrases. And the first one is in the weeds.
In the weeds.
In the weeds.
In the weeds.
So when you're in the weeds, you're so busy and you can't do all the work you need to do on time.
Okay, so in the weeds, it means that you're really busy.
Yes.
And
You can't finish everything.
you have too much to do.
Yep.
Okay, in the weeds.
Mhm.
Okay, our next word, running low on.
Running low on.
Running low on.
Running low on.
Okay, so before we get into explaining what running low on means, let's listen to some examples.
Example 1.
You better look for a gas station. We're running low on fuel.
Example 2.
We're running low on beers. Can you go out and get some?
Example 3.
My flashlight is running low on battery. Hurry up before it gets dark.
So basically, running low means
You don't have much of this left.
you don't have much of something left.
Yeah. So here they're running low on wine. So basically,
There's not much wine left.
right.
So as we heard in the examples, you could also be running low on fuel, for example, on your car,
Yep.
etc. Running low on. All right, and now let's take a look at our last word. Doing really well.
Doing really well.
We are doing really well.
Doing really well. So this seems to be like a pretty simple structure. I mean, we know all these words, right?
Mhm.
So why is it special?
Well, basically, if you say, I am doing really well, maybe it sounds a little bit difficult to understand. What are you doing really well?
Mm.
So this is a great way of answering a question. When somebody says, how are you? Or how are you doing? You can say, oh, I'm doing really well.
So
Or I'm doing well.
in your life, everything is good.
In your life, things are good and you're happy, basically.
Yeah. But in this situation, in the dialogue, what's doing really well?
Well, the restaurant is doing really well. The business is doing really well.
So when he says we're doing really well, business is
Good.
good. They're making lots of money.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So you can use it with people. You can use it with businesses. You can say, oh, I'm doing really well in my new job.
Yep.
Or my son is doing really well in school.
Yep.
Okay. So you can use it in those different ways.
All right. Well, let's listen to the dialogue one last time, and we'll be able to hear all of these great words and phrases we just talked about.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Ah, c'est pas possible, j'ai vraiment une galère ici, ça n'arrive jamais.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Ooh, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we're really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and get over here. I need some sauce tiered and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, Table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they're food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
So, Marco, do you think this chef had a rat under his hat?
That was a really good movie,
Yeah.
Ratatouille, that
Yeah.
Disney Pixar, where a rat is a cook.
Yes.
It's interesting. I love to cook, but I'm not very good at cooking.
Really?
But it's good because for me, it helps me relieve stress.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in a bad mood, I go home and cook something to eat and the world seems a happier place.
And people don't understand it because they think cooking is work.
Yep.
But, you know, for some people, it's fun.
Yeah.
So what about you guys? What do you like to cook? Do you have any particular dish that you prepare very well?
And if you do, please send us the recipes.
Exactly, because we know that we have listeners from all over the world. And of course, we want to know what type of food you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
So come to EnglishPod.com and post your questions, your comments, and your recipes
Yes.
in our community section. And Erica and I will always be there.
Yes, to test out your recipes as well as answer questions.
For sure. If a good recipe comes along, we'll prepare it and we'll let you know how it turned out.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're out of time, but we'll see you next time.
Until then, goodbye.
Bye. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another lesson here with us at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we are going to have a very casual, normal conversation.
That's right. We're going to listen in on some small talk between a taxi driver and the passenger.
Small talk. So that's basically...
Small, short conversations you have with someone that you don't know very well.
Okay, so typical questions like how old are you, where you're from,
Yep.
etc.
That's right. And this can be really hard for English learners because they often don't know what the right thing to say or the right thing to talk about. So we're going to give you a lot of phrases in this lesson that you can use in small talk.
Okay, so we don't have anything to preview today, so let's listen to the dialogue for the first time, and then we'll come back.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old. And what about yourself?
I'm 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old US of A, although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
Qué bien. Entonces podemos hablar en español.
All right. So I don't think this guy spoke much Spanish. Do you?
No, even though he has Colombian heritage, I think he doesn't speak much. But maybe he's just a little bit rusty.
Maybe. But what he does speak is English. And since this is English Pod, why don't we look at some of the phrases that they used for small talk in Fluency Builder?
Fluency Builder.
All right, so today on Fluency Builder, we're going to take a look at phrases that both the passenger and the taxi driver use to make small talk. So why don't we start with the first one?
All right. So the taxi driver tells the passenger that she doesn't look very Chinese, if you don't mind me saying so.
Right, so he said, you don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
If you don't mind me saying so.
So what does he mean by this last part of his sentence?
Well, this is a phrase that we use to soften a sort of a statement that might be a little bit rude.
She could be Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? So it may be a little bit rude to say that, but he kind of apologizes.
That's right.
Right? By saying, if you don't mind me saying so.
Okay, so for example, I could say, hey, Marco, you look a little tired today, if you don't mind me saying so.
Okay. So does it always go at the end?
You could use it at the beginning. If you don't mind me saying so, I just don't think this is a good idea.
Okay, very good. So you can use this phrase in the beginning or at the end of a sentence.
Right. And it makes your statement a little bit less rude.
If you don't mind me saying so. Now, again, he also apologizes a little bit when he says, excuse me if I am being a bit nosy, but...
Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but...
Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but...
Okay, so let's take a look at this. Nosy. What's this?
Okay, when somebody is nosy, it means they're very curious. They are asking too many questions.
Yeah, asking more questions than they should ask.
Right. So he apologizes and says, well, excuse me if I'm asking too many questions. And then he asks her another question.
He asks her how old she is.
Right. So again, it's a polite way of maybe asking a question that might be a little bit sensitive.
Yeah, or a little bit impolite.
Okay. So, of course, asking a woman her age maybe is a little bit impolite, right?
Yes. Typically women don't like that too much. But our next phrase, we heard the taxi driver say, don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay, so don't get me wrong. He says, well, don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
That's right. This phrase is used so commonly in English that I think it would help us to hear some examples.
Example 1.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I think you stole my computer. It's just that you were the only one who could get into my room.
Example 2.
I do have a few problems with the plan, but don't get me wrong, I still think it's a good idea.
Example 3.
Don't get me wrong. I think John's a nice guy. He's just a bit disorganized.
All right, very good example. So don't get me wrong, right?
That's right.
And now for the final phrase on putting it together today.
Well, the passenger, the woman, says her age. She says, I'm 26 years old. And what about yourself?
What about yourself?
What about yourself?
All right. Now, this sentence isn't very correct, actually, right?
Yeah, technically it's not correct in grammar, but it is used so commonly every day by American English speakers that we thought we'd show it to you.
Okay. So you would say, I am 26 years old, and what about you?
That's right.
Okay. But commonly you will hear people say, what about yourself?
And if you use this, you'll sound really fluent and really native-like.
Okay, very good. So what about yourself?
So again, it's just like, what about you? So I could say, hey, Marco, I'm going away on holiday this weekend. And what about yourself?
Okay, what about yourself? So we've taken a look at these 4 phrases on putting it together. Why don't we listen to the dialogue for the second time? We're going to slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and take a look at some vocabulary words on Language Takeaway.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old. And what about yourself?
I am 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old U.S. of A., although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak some Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
¡Qué bien! Entonces podemos hablar en español.
Well, we've got some interesting vocabulary words and phrases here in Language Takeaway. And the first one.
Well, after she gets in the taxi and tells him where she wants to go, he answers by saying, sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
So if I say, yeah, sure thing, what does that mean?
Well, let's listen to some examples to help us understand.
Example 1.
Do you mind lending me $100?
Sure thing.
Example 2.
Could you please send me the email by the end of the day?
Sure thing.
Example 3.
Do you mind lending me $100?
Sure thing.
Could you please send me the email by the end of the day?
Sure thing.
Example 4.
Can you get some milk on the way home?
Sure thing, I'm on my way now.
Okay, so sure thing. Basically, yeah, no problem, or okay,
Or I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yep.
So it's a very common way. You will hear this a lot when somebody agrees or says, yes, no problem.
Yeah, and again, it will help you sound really native-like to use this phrase. Well, the next one, the taxi driver says, I was born and raised here.
I was born and raised here.
Born and raised.
Okay, so this is a way of saying I was born in this country and I haven't left this country.
That's right. So I'm from this country.
Okay, born and raised here in the good old US of A.
Good old US of A.
The good old US of A.
So this is a pretty interesting way of saying America.
Right. It's actually more of a phrase, right? The good old US of A.
Yep.
Okay, so it means the good United States of America.
Yeah, it's kind of a fond way or friendly way of describing America.
All right. And we have one more word for language takeaway.
Well, the taxi driver was talking about his Colombian heritage.
Colombian heritage.
Heritage.
All right, so if I have Colombian heritage, what does that mean?
Your grandmother or, grandfather, great-grandmother, or someone in your family is from Colombia.
Okay. And what about the word heritage by itself?
Yeah, so your heritage is basically your culture, your
customs.
Yeah, your customs, your history.
Okay. So heritage. Mm-hmm. A country rich in heritage.
Lots of good old historical culture in that country.
Okay, very good. So now it's time for us to listen to the dialogue for the last time. Now we can understand all these phrases and these great words that we've just looked at, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old. And what about yourself?
I'm 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old US of A, although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
Qué bien. Entonces podemos hablar en español.
So Marco, this taxi driver makes a bit of a mistake when he asks the woman how old she is.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There are a couple of questions that in some cultures are considered to be normal and okay,
Yep.
but in other cultures they're not really well accepted.
Okay, so in Anglo culture, for example, it's really impolite to ask a woman how old she is.
Right, women are a little bit more sensitive about their age. Others aren't so much, but it's usually better to just not ask.
Yep. And what else should we avoid talking about in small talk?
Well, for example, when you ask a person their occupation,
Yep.
you can ask what they do for a living, but don't ask how much money they make.
That's right. Anglo people are really sensitive about talking about money. We hate talking about money.
Right. So don't ask somebody their salary or how much money they make. It's just not considered to be polite.
And another good one to be careful of is asking if someone is married or not.
Right. Sometimes you're just being friendly and you
Yeah.
want to know if that person has family or
Yeah.
something. But you have to be careful when and where you ask this question.
Right. So if they've mentioned their family, or if they talked about their kids or something else to do with their family, then it's okay.
Right. You can say, well, oh, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
But if a guy asks a girl, oh, are you married? It kind of sounds like maybe he's interested in her or that he's trying to come on to her and to be maybe more than friendly, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So some great small talk tips and phrases here at English Pod. Now, if you have any questions about this lesson or any other lessons, be sure to visit our website at englishpod.com.
And if you also have any doubts about which questions you think are appropriate of asking somebody, come onto the website and let us know.
So thanks for downloading, you guys. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And we're bringing you another great elementary lesson today, one that takes place at the office.
Yes. Today, we're going to teach you some great phrases so that you can ask people to help you.
Right. And I think this dialogue is with a new person at the office.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're new, you always need to ask people for favors.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to be asking for a favor.
So Marco, what exactly is a favor?
Something that a person does for you.
Like a small helpful thing.
A small helpful thing. So, like, can you pass me that pencil? Maybe that's even a favor.
Yeah. Or maybe, can you pick me up on your way to work?
Yeah, that's a favor. Or even lending money to your friend.
Yeah.
That's a favor.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about, favors and how to ask for one.
Because you always have to do this at work.
At work, with your friends, with your family. So let's listen to the dialogue and then we'll come back and explain all the vocabulary.
Sorry to bother you. My name is Rachel. I'm new here. Can I ask you for a favor?
Hi, Rachel. Welcome on board. I'm afraid I can't help you right now. I'm getting ready for a very important meeting.
Excuse me, but can I bother you for a second?
You know what? I'd love to help you, but I'm about to meet an important client. Do you want to ask Sean instead? He sits right over there.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sean. Could you do me a quick favor?
Actually, I'm working on a document that's due in a couple of minutes. I really can't talk right now. Sorry about that.
Jeez. I just want to know where the bathroom is. What's wrong with you people?
So a pretty busy office.
Pretty unhelpful colleagues.
I know, everyone's so busy. They didn't help this poor girl.
Yeah, I hope she found the bathroom.
Now let's take a look at the language from the dialogue. So let's start with language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
There's some great language in this dialogue, wasn't there?
Yeah, a lot of interesting phrases and words. The first one that I saw that was really interesting is on board.
On board.
Welcome on board.
Well, we've got some examples of how this phrase is used, so let's listen to them to help us understand the meaning.
Example 1.
Welcome on board, Sarah. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Example 2.
We need to get our new office assistant on board as soon as possible.
Example 3.
We decided to bring Melissa on board to join the marketing team.
So basically it means
welcome to the company.
Welcome to the company.
Or
the team.
Yeah.
Welcome on board.
So on board is the same as to the company.
I guess also when you get on a ship, they'll tell you welcome on board.
Yes, that's where it comes from.
Or an airplane.
Yeah.
Welcome on board. Okay, let's take a look at our next word. About to.
About to.
I'm about to.
I'm about to.
So this is a great phrase to explain that you're about to do something.
I'm going to do this thing really soon.
Okay, so for example, you can say, I'm about to go out for lunch.
Mm-hmm. Or I could say, hey, Marco, let's go record a show.
I'm about to go into a meeting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
About to.
Going to do something really soon.
Okay. The next word we have is instead.
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 Instead. It means in the place of.
In the place of.
Yep.
So, for example, if we're at dinner, I could say, I'll have the chicken instead of the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or I can say, I wanted to buy a red sweater, but they didn't have one, so I bought a blue one instead.
Instead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in the place of.
Yeah.
And our last word for language takeaway, interrupt.
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 So when somebody interrupts you, they come in and
they talk to you while you're doing something, or maybe while you're speaking.
Or maybe you're busy and people come and
bother you.
And bother you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So interrupt.
Interrupt. Okay, some great words here in our dialogue, and now we can listen to it again. This time it's going to be a little bit slower,
and you'll be able to understand the language a little bit better.
Sorry to bother you. My name is Rachel. I'm new here. Can I ask you for a favor?
Hi, Rachel. Welcome on board. I'm afraid I can't help you right now. I'm getting ready for a very important meeting.
Excuse me, but can I bother you for a second?
You know what? I'd love to help you, but I'm about to meet an important client. Do you want to try Sean instead? He sits right over there.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sean. Could you do me a quick favor?
Actually, I'm working on a document that is due in a couple of minutes. I really can't talk to you right now. Sorry about that.
Jeez. I just want to know where the bathroom is. What's wrong with you people?
Okay, so there are some great ways that you can ask someone for a favor, right?
Yeah, we want to show you some really useful phrases for asking for help.
So let's start with putting it together.
Putting it together.
Let's listen to some different ways of how you can ask someone for a favor.
Example 1. May I get you to do me a favor? Can you carry this package in your suitcase for me? Example 2.
Can I ask you a favor? Can you just finish this report for me?
Example 3. Will you do me a favor and pass me that file?
Okay, so those were great examples of asking for a favor.
Yeah.
In our dialogue, we heard, can I ask you a favor?
But we could also say, can I get you to do me a favor?
Right. Can I get you to do me a favor? Also, I could say, will you do me a favor?
Will you do me a favor?
Right. So those are different ways of asking for a favor.
Let's say you want to ask someone for a favor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're busy.
Right.
So you'll need some phrases to help you do this.
Exactly. You need some phrases to interrupt somebody. Right? So let's listen to some examples of what phrases you can use to begin to talk to someone.
Yeah, to interrupt them.
Okay.
I hate to bother you, but...
I'm sorry to bother you, but...
I don't mean to bother you, but...
Okay, so those are really nice and polite ways of beginning to talk to someone.
Exactly. They're really useful at the office.
So maybe you want to talk to your boss, you knock on his door, kind of open it a little bit and say, I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if you have time for a meeting today.
Or you could say, I hate to bother you, but do you have time for a meeting today?
Exactly. So those are great ways of starting up a conversation.
Yep.
And maybe setting it up to ask for a favor, right? So we can combine them. I could say, I hate to bother you, but can you do me a favor?
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah, really useful.
So then you can ask someone for a favor.
Yep.
Okay, great stuff. So I guess we can listen to our dialogue again.
Yeah, let's listen to our dialogue for the third time. And this time, I'm sure you'll understand it a lot better.
Sorry to bother you. My name is Rachel. I'm new here. Can I ask you for a favor?
Hi, Rachel. Welcome on board. I'm afraid I can't help you right now. I'm getting ready for a very important meeting.
Excuse me, but can I bother you for a second?
You know what? I'd love to help you, but I'm about to meet an important client. Do you want to ask Sean instead? He sits right over there.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sean. Could you do me a quick favor?
Actually, I'm working on a document that's due in a couple of minutes. I really can't talk right now. Sorry about that.
Jeez. I just want to know where the bathroom is. What's wrong with you people?
All right, so now you have all the vocabulary necessary the next time you need to ask someone for a favor.
Yes.
At the office, with your friends, with your family, anyone.
Well, everyone, we are out of time for today, but remember to visit our website at englishpod.com.
Exactly. At our website, you'll find the script of the dialogue, and also you'll find intermediate lessons, upper intermediate, and even advanced.
Yeah, exactly. Our website is a great resource for learning. Marco and I are always there to answer your questions, and we also have lots of helpful users who answer your questions.
Exactly. So don't miss out. Come to our website at englishpod.com, and we'll see you there.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
Today we're bringing you part 2 of another great lesson that we had.
Yes, New Guy in Town.
The New Guy in Town.
Part 2.
Part 2. Kind of a creepy story.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one is also a little bit strange, a little bit weird.
Yeah, unusual outcome, unusual ending.
But it has to do a lot with invitations.
That's right. So an invitation is when you ask somebody to do something with you.
Right. A dinner invitation.
So we're going to be talking about invitations and inviting people to do things.
Okay.
Well, with that, let's listen to the dialogue for the first time.
Oh, Armand, thank you for such a thoughtful invitation. It's really very nice of you to invite us over for dinner. Don't you think so, Ellen?
Oh, yes, of course. We'd love to come over. Can I bring anything?
No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything. I'll see you tonight. Come with an appetite. I know I will.
I don't want to go over to his place for dinner. He gives me the creeps. Why on earth did you accept?
Oh, come on, Ellen. It'll be nice to get to know him. Besides, he's new to the neighborhood, and it would be rude to decline his invitation.
I guess so. You always rope me into things like this.
Ladies, thank you for coming. You look delicious. Beautiful. Please come in.
Oh, Armand, you are too kind.
How did I get myself into this?
Wow, I'm really anxious to see what happens in this dinner party.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to stay tuned and find out.
For part 3.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have some really great vocabulary, so I guess we can start with language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
All right, on language takeaway today, we have 3 great words. Erica, why don't you start us off with the first one?
The first word is thoughtful.
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 So when you're thoughtful, you're kind, right?
You're kind. You're considerate.
Yes,
to other people.
You think about what the other person would like.
Right.
And you do that thing.
It's so thoughtful of you.
Yeah.
Our second phrase, give me the creeps.
Give me the creeps.
Give me the creeps.
This is kind of a funny phrase, but I think if we listen to some examples, we'll understand the meaning.
Example 1.
Horror movies give me the creeps.
Example 2.
Stop it! You're giving me the creeps.
Example 3.
I saw this really scary clown. It gave me the creeps.
So I can see this one means to make me feel uncomfortable.
Right. It makes me feel
like strange.
Scared.
Yeah, scared.
Also,
yeah.
Gives me the creeps.
Mm-hmm.
And our last phrase for language takeaway, rope me into.
Rope me into something.
Rope me into something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you rope me into something, it's
like you convince me to do something that I don't really want to do.
Right. So I roped you into lending me your car.
Yes. That was a bad idea.
That was a bad idea.
And you roped me into going out for beers after work.
Yeah, that was a great idea. All right. So rope me into, convince.
Yeah.
All righty. So I guess we could listen to our dialogue again.
This time a little bit slower, and you'll be able to understand the language a little bit more clearly.
Oh, Armand, thank you for such a thoughtful invitation. It's really very nice of you to invite us over for dinner. Don't you think so, Ellen?
Oh, yes, of course. We'd love to come over. Can I bring anything?
No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything. I'll see you tonight. Come with an appetite. I know I will.
I don't want to go over to his place for dinner. He gives me the creeps. Why on earth did you accept?
Oh, come on, Ellen. It will be nice to get to know him. Besides, he's new to the neighborhood, and it would be rude to decline his invitation.
I guess so. You always rope me into things like this.
Ladies, thank you for coming. You look delicious. I mean, beautiful. Please come in. Come in.
Oh, Armand, you are too kind.
How did I get myself into this?
Well, I guess that's a lot more clear, and with that, we can start putting it together today.
Putting it together.
Today we've got 3 words and phrases that we want to show you how you can put together and use differently.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is appetite.
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 So appetite is like a strong desire for food, right?
Right, an appetite.
We've got some examples that show you how to use this phrase. Let's listen.
Example 1.
Dinner smells so good. It's giving me an appetite.
Example 2.
You're sure eating a lot. You must have a big appetite.
Example 3.
I'm getting sick. I have a fever and I've lost my appetite.
Okay, so we saw some great examples of appetite. You can lose your appetite.
That's right.
You have a big appetite, a small appetite,
a healthy appetite.
Right. So it just means
a desire for food, a hunger for food. Yeah.
Okay. Great. What's our second phrase for today?
Get to know someone.
Get to know.
Get to know.
So when you get to know someone is you talk to them and you find out what they do.
Yeah, you get more familiar with them.
More familiar, right. For example, we can say, I got to know her in Spanish class and she's a really nice person.
Yeah, or you can say, Armand, Ellen, and Doris got to know each other at a dinner party.
Right. Or you can say, if you get to know me, you'll see that I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, get to know.
And our third phrase is, why on earth?
Why on earth?
Why on earth?
Why on earth? This is there's like a saying, expression.
You can use it in a lot of different ways. So we've got some examples for you. Let's listen.
Example 1.
Where on earth is my phone?
Example 2.
How on earth did you learn English in 1 month?
Example 3.
What on earth is it?
So when you ask a question with on earth, so why on earth, how on earth, what on earth, it's like you're showing a lot of surprise.
Okay, great stuff. So let's just listen to our dialogue a third time.
Oh, Armand, thank you for such a thoughtful invitation. It's really very nice of you to invite us over for dinner. Don't you think so, Ellen?
Oh, yes, of course. We'd love to come over. Can I bring anything?
No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything. I'll see you tonight. Come with an appetite. I know I will.
I don't want to go over to his place for dinner. He gives me the creeps. Why on earth did you accept?
Oh, come on, Ellen. It'll be nice to get to know him. Besides, he's new to the neighborhood, and it would be rude to decline his invitation.
I guess so. You always rope me into things like this.
Ladies, thank you for coming. You look delicious. I mean, beautiful. Please come in.
Oh, Armand, you are too kind.
How did I get myself into this?
We want to know what you think happens next.
Yes, what happens in this dialogue next?
So we want you to send us your idea of what happens next, and we're going to choose the best one.
That's right. Marco and I will choose the best continuation of the story, and we'll use that in part 3 of The New Guy in Town.
That's right. So you can give it any direction you want.
That's right.
And of course, we'll publish the name of the author with the lesson.
Yes.
I'm really anxious to see what ideas come up and how we can end this dialogue.
I know we've got a lot of really creative users out there, so I'm really looking forward to this.
That's right. That's right. So be sure to send us your ideas, either a private message or you can post it on the comments section of this lesson. And any other questions or doubts, go to englishpod.com and you can leave them there.
Yes, Marco and I are always happy to answer your questions.
Okay, folks. So until then, it's
goodbye.
Bye.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to English Pod. My name's Erica.
And I'm Marco.
So Marco, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm really looking forward to our lesson because we're going to the eye doctor today.
Okay, so we've got an elementary lesson about going to the eye doctor.
Yes.
Well, let's get started then with our vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
We have 3 words today in our vocabulary preview. All 3 words come from our dialogue. Our first word is struggle.
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 So Marco, when I struggle to do something, what does that mean?
It means it's difficult. It means that you have a hard time, so you can't really do it very quickly.
So you have to try really hard.
You have to try really hard.
Yeah, to do something that's difficult.
Yes.
Okay, our next word is
blurry.
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 Blurry. B-L-U-R-R-Y.
Blurry. Whenever something is blurry, you can't really see it well.
It's not clear.
Right.
That's right. Everything will be blurry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and our final word is
prescription.
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 Often when you go to the doctor and you need some medicine, he writes out a prescription.
Right. A little paper that says all the medicine that you need, and then you can go to the drugstore and buy it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those 3 words you'll hear in today's dialogue, and I think it's time we listen to the dialogue.
Hello, Arthur. What seems to be the problem?
Hey, Doc. Well, I think I might need glasses. I'm getting headaches, and I really struggle to see things that are far away. But I've always had 20/20 vision.
Sounds like you might be farsighted. Okay, then, cover your left eye and read the chart in front of you.
X, E, R, 3, question mark, and I can't quite make out the other symbol, but I think it's the peace sign.
Wow, Arthur, you're as blind as a bat.
Yeah, I know. My vision is really blurry at times.
Okay, then. Head over to the other room and pick out some frames while I fill out your prescription.
Thanks, Doc.
Arthur, that's the bathroom.
Well, this guy really has poor vision, hey? Well, actually, you know what? I've walked into the bathroom, the men's bathroom, actually, instead of the women's bathroom. And that's not because I wasn't wearing my glasses.
It's because you weren't paying attention.
That's true.
Okay, let's take a look today at our language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first word on our language takeaway for today is 20/20 vision.
20/20 vision. 20/20
vision.
If I have 20/20 vision,
it means that you have perfect vision.
Which I do not have.
No, me neither. So I usually wear glasses as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, people that have 20/20 vision don't need glasses. They can see clearly.
And perfectly. Yeah. Next word is far-sighted.
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 So if I'm far-sighted, I can't see very well, right?
So if you're far-sighted, you can see things that are near.
So you can see things that are far away.
Right.
But things that are close are blurry. Okay.
And the opposite would be?
Nearsighted.
And which is?
You can see things that are close well.
But not far.
Yeah. Okay.
Far-sighted and nearsighted.
Okay. So our next word is make out.
Make out.
Make out.
Make out.
Make out. That's kind of a funny little phrase. And let's listen to a few examples of this phrase so we can understand how it's used.
Example 1.
I can't make out what this says. The writing is too small.
Example 2.
If you look carefully, you can almost make out a few of the stars in the sky.
Example 3.
Can you see what's written on the sign there?
No, I can't quite make it out.
Okay, so basically make out is to see clearly.
Exactly.
Make out.
To see.
Okay. And our last word for language takeaway today is blind as a bat.
Blind as a bat.
Blind as a bat.
So this is a really funny sounding expression, one of these weird English idioms.
Yeah, it's a really common expression that just means that you can't see.
Exactly. So it's not like you actually are blind, right?
But you just really can't see very well.
Okay. All right, we saw 4 great words today in our language takeaway. Now I think we can listen to our dialogue another time.
But this time it's going to be slower so we can pick up all these great words that we just talked about.
Hello, Arthur. What seems to be the problem?
Hey, Doc. Well, I think I might need glasses. I'm getting headaches, and I really struggle to see things that are far away. But I've always had 20/20 vision.
Sounds like you may be farsighted. Okay, then. Cover your left eye and read the chart in front of you.
X, E, R, 3, question mark, and I can't quite make out the other symbol, but I think it's a peace sign.
Wow. Arthur, you're as blind as a bat.
Yeah, I know. My vision is really blurry at times.
Okay, then. Head on over to the other room and pick out some frames while I fill out your prescription.
Thanks, Doc.
Arthur, that's the bathroom.
All right, great stuff on our dialogue. And with this, we can start now with putting it together.
Putting it together.
So we saw a couple useful phrases in this dialogue, and I think we can show you how to use these phrases in a few different ways.
Right. The first one that we have today is what seems to be.
So we heard in the dialogue, the doctor said,
what seems to be the problem?
We can use this same expression in a number of different ways. Let's listen.
Example 1.
What seems to be the problem?
Example 2.
What seems to be the matter?
Example 3.
What seems to be the trouble?
Okay, so with these examples, we can see how we can use the phrase, what seems to be, in many different ways.
Yeah, it's a great way of asking, what's the problem?
So now let's take a look at another phrase.
We heard in the dialogue, the doctor said, head on over to the other room.
Right. And with this phrase, head on, we can combine it with other prepositions to indicate another place.
Exactly. Let's hear 3 examples.
Example 1.
Head on in.
Example 2.
Head on out.
Example 3.
Head on up.
Okay, so for example, we can say, head on into the house. It's gonna rain soon.
Or we can say, hey guys, let's head on out to the park.
Or I can also say, head on up to my room. I'll be there in a second.
Great. Those are some cool phrases.
Right, and they're real useful.
So why don't we listen to our dialogue and maybe we'll hear them again.
Hello, Arthur. What seems to be the problem?
Hey, Doc. Well, I think I might need glasses. I'm getting headaches and I really struggle to see things that are far away. But I've always had 20/20 vision.
Sounds like you might be farsighted. Okay, then, cover your left eye and read the chart in front of you.
X, E, R, 3, question mark, and I can't quite make out the other symbol, but I think it's the peace sign.
Wow, Arthur, you're as blind as a bat.
Yeah, I know. My vision is really blurry at times.
Okay, then. Head over to the other room and pick out some frames while I fill out your prescription.
Thanks, Doc.
Arthur, that's the bathroom.
Okay, so talking about going to the eye doctor today, I have a question for our listeners.
A challenge for the listeners.
What's it called when you can't distinguish colors?
So like when you can't tell the difference between red and blue and green.
Right. So what is that condition called? So
there's like a technical term. We want the technical term.
We want the technical term. So we'll be looking for it on our comments page, and be sure to, if you know the answer, post it.
Also, if you have questions about today's lesson or any other lesson, please come and visit our website and ask us.
Yeah, we hope to see you there, but until then, it's
goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Appears or is. Seem to be. Try very hard. struggle, perfect eyesight, 20/20 vision, see, make out, see far away things more clearly than things nearby, far-sighted, have really poor vision, as blind as a bat, ability to see things, vision, not clear, blurry, choose, pick out, a message written by a doctor that tells people what medicine to take, prescription. Let's try that faster. See far away things more clearly than things nearby. Far-sighted, perfect eyesight, 20/20 vision, try very hard, struggle, have really poor vision, as blind as a bat, see far away things more clearly than things nearby. Far-sighted, have really poor vision, as blind as a bat, appears or is, seem to be, choose, pick out, not clear, blurry, see far away things more clearly than things nearby, far-sighted, choose, pick out, see, make out, perfect eyesight, 20/20 vision, not clear, blurry, appears or is, seem to be, have really poor vision, as blind as a bat, perfect eyesight, 20/20 vision, see, make out. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Seem to be. Trevor seems to be getting sick. He has a fever. Struggle. She was struggling to find a new job. Make out. I can't make out what this says. The writing is too small. Prescription. Here's your prescription. Make sure you take the right amount of pills every day. Struggle. She was struggling to find a new job. Make out. I can't make out what this says. The writing is too small.